So, you did it. You walked away from a toxic job. First off, that takes an incredible amount of courage, so you should really acknowledge that. But as a lot of us know, leaving is, well, it's just the first step, isn't it? The real work, the healing, that all starts now. So let's talk about how to get through it.
This is the million-dollar question, right? If you're feeling totally drained, maybe a little confused, or even kind of lost after what you've been through, you are definitely not alone. The great news is, there is a way forward, and it's clearer than you might think.
You know, a toxic job can really do a number on your confidence. It can make you second-guess your skills, your judgment, pretty much everything. But getting back on your feet doesn't have to be this chaotic, messy process. It can actually be a pretty structured, manageable journey.
And this is going to be our guide. Think of this as our roadmap for the journey ahead. It lays out 10 really clear signposts to take us all the way from processing what happened to actually designing a much healthier, better future for ourselves.
Okay, so our journey has to begin by looking back. Now hold on, not to get stuck there, but to really understand what went down. Processing the past is absolutely essential if we're going to build a solid foundation for whatever you decide to do next.
So the first 2 signposts on our map are focused right here, on the past. Step 1 is about finding closure on that whole experience. And step 2 is about pulling out the valuable, even if they were painful, lessons that it taught you.
This quote, wow, it just hits the nail on the head. Leaving any job can feel like a loss, but when it's a toxic one, that's a whole different level. You might be mourning the time you lost, the energy you spent, maybe even the version of your career you thought you'd have. It is totally okay. In fact, it's necessary to give yourself the time and space to process all of that.
So how do you actually do this stuff? Well, for closure, the source suggests something really powerful. Try writing a goodbye note that you never actually send. Just get it all out on paper and then let it go. You could even shred it, super satisfying. Then, for the lessons, really reflect on why that environment was so bad for you. That knowledge, that becomes your shield. It's going to help you spot those red flags a mile away next time.
All right, we've looked back and we've processed. Now it's time to shift our focus. Part 2 is all about rebuilding in the here and now. It's about taking active, concrete steps to heal and get back your sense of self. Okay, this is probably the most action-packed part of the whole journey. We're going to cover 6 different but connected steps, and they're all designed to help you grab the steering wheel again and start rebuilding your well-being, like right now.
You know, after a toxic job, it's just so easy to get tangled up in self-blame and all those what-if questions. The way to fight back is with self-compassion. This isn't about ignoring what happened. It's about shifting your focus away from the chaos you couldn't control and onto the small steps you can control today to build a better tomorrow.
Okay, once you start to shift that focus, let's talk triggers. Seriously, this is such a game changer. Think about it. What specifically set off your stress at that old job? Was it a certain tone in an email? A last-minute meeting request? By identifying those triggers now, you can actually make a plan for how you'll handle them differently if they pop up again. You're protecting your future peace.
And protecting that peace is a job for both your mind and your body. The roadmap suggests 2 really simple daily practices. First, savor the good stuff. Just for 10 minutes a day, focus on something positive. It actually helps retrain your brain to look for the good. And second, release that tension. Go for a walk, hit the gym, do whatever works for you to help your body physically let go of all that stored up stress.
This whole idea of letting go also applies to your professional network. This next one is so important. You get to curate your circle. You decide who stays. Focus on the relationships that are positive and insightful, and give yourself full permission to just let go of the ones that were tied up in all that negativity.
And the last step for this section is deciding on your attitude. Now, this isn't about faking it or pretending the past didn't sting. You absolutely should process any bitterness, but maybe do that privately. The choice here is to move forward publicly with positivity, refusing to let gossip or complaining define your next chapter. Okay, deep breath. We've processed the past. We are actively rebuilding the present. Now for the fun part, looking ahead. It's time to intentionally design the future you actually want and deserve.
The last 2 signposts on our map are all about being strategic. This is where we take everything, all the pain, all the lessons, all the healing, and turn it into a concrete plan for a much, much better work life.
So what does this plan look like? First, you use that knowledge, your new shield, to actively look for a healthy work environment. Second, you figure out your personal boundaries before you even start a new job.
And third, you can take an honest look at your own behavior and see what parts you have the power to influence and improve.
And please remember, you do not have to do this alone. The final critical step is to build your support system. Go out and find mentors and leaders you admire. Make an effort to connect with coworkers who are genuinely supportive. This is how you stop just hoping for a positive culture and you start actively building one around yourself.
So there you have it. That's the 10-step journey. We've gone from the messy aftermath of a toxic job all the way to intentionally designing a healthier and way more fulfilling future.
And really, this is what it all comes down to. Recovery is not about pretending it never happened. It's about using those hard-won lessons as the foundation to build something stronger and something better. It's about taking back your power and rewriting your own story.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. After everything we've just walked through, what is one concrete boundary you are going to commit to setting in your next role? Something that will protect your peace and help you build the career you really want.